Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Military Mondays. For those of you who do not know who I am retired Major Brenda Sanchez, and I am the co-founder of Life's Real Currency with my husband, Michael Sanchez, and we wrote the book called Life's Real Currency. And I love to educate the civilian and military community on things that maybe you're not top of mind awareness. And that's why I put on my Military Mondays. I also like to interview veteran business owners. So if you are a veteran business owner, I would love to get to know you. So if all of you in the comments below could let me know where you're watching from and what your connection is to the military. And if you have a business, please let us know, and I would love to reach out to you and maybe interview on a Monday morning. So also be sure to turn on your notifications. That way you know when I go live and do these Military Mondays. So just turn on your Facebook notifications. Today I wanted to talk to you about life after retirement, or 5 years after retirement. And I'm coming up on my 5-year anniversary. It's really hard to believe it's been 5 years since I retired from the Air Force out of Peterson Air Force Base. And so what does it look like when you retire from the service and 5 years later? So my husband and I were talking about this morning. Mike and I were talking, and he wanted to know what it was like to transition out of the military. What was the hardest thing? What was it like? Was it a challenge? Was it easy because I already had a side gig that I could step right into? And I think the hardest part about transitioning out of the military, any branch of the military, and into especially an entrepreneur type of role in owning your own business is schedule. Because your schedule is set for you in the military for the most part. Yes, as an officer, I controlled my schedule some and I set meetings, but you're going to work, you have meetings on your calendar, you have normal daily operations that you have to accomplish. And it's different when you go into a job and punch a clock per se. I mean, you don't punch a clock in the military because you work 24/7. But when you're on a job and you're on the clock, like you show up at 6 a.m. for work, which is what I typically did, is 6 o'clock in the morning, I'd be at work. Well, now I'm on the clock, and I knew at the end of the day at 4, 5, 6 o'clock, depending on the day, I was done and I could come home. And I did have a job, and many military people do have a job where you may do things in the evening, you may get calls, but for the most part, you're done. And so when you're an entrepreneur or own your own business, it's setting that schedule and truly treating it like a job, and starting at 6 o'clock in the morning, or it's really hard to start at 6 o'clock in the morning as an entrepreneur unless you're doing emails and that, because most people don't want to be called or don't want to get a text at 6 o'clock in the morning. But it's setting that schedule and that routine for the day. And the other challenge, and it may seem silly to some of you that are civilians, but those of us who wear a uniform, and Mike even said this with law enforcement when he was actually an officer for the Salida PD, he wore his uniform every day. And so it's real easy. You get up in the morning and you know exactly what you're going to wear. You don't have to think about it. You just grab your uniform and you put it on, and you just need to make sure that you have clean uniforms at all times. And as an entrepreneur, or even just retired, even if you're not going to do a job, or that, you still have to figure out what you're going to wear every day. And I know that can sound really silly, but it's true, what you're going to wear. And for me, it was jewelry and accessorizing. So for the women that are in the military that get out, and now you can wear earrings other than studs, and you can wear necklaces and you can wear bracelets. It becomes a challenge to figure that all out. And I know that, again, sounds really silly, but it's true. And so I'm now coming up on 5 years, as I said, after retirement. And retirement is amazing. As a gray zone reservist, though, we also talked about not having insurance. So, and as an entrepreneur, I don't per se have health insurance, and that I have that all through my husband and his job. So those are all things that you have to consider when you're coming up on retirement and thinking about. There are many people out there. I have many friends that are in the health insurance and can provide you a way to cover that gap in insurance if you need it. I didn't need it. But I have a whole network of resources that can help you transition out of the service. I have networking groups that I'm a part of, veteran networking groups that help veterans to have a safe space to, if you're an entrepreneur, give your commercial, give your 30-second, 60-second elevator pitch, give a 15-minute presentation on your business. And it's a safe place to be able to do that and learn and stumble through it, so that when you go out into the real world, if you want to call it that, that you are prepared. So all of you that are getting ready to transition out of the military, I don't care if you're 3, 4, 5 years out, I highly recommend getting involved in some veteran networking groups or reaching out to veterans who have made that transition and are now, especially if you're looking at owning your own business, that have their own businesses that can help you navigate going from a very rigid schedule in the military to an extremely flexible, which I absolutely love, but can also be a challenge at the same time. So with that, that's what I wanted to talk to you about here on my Military Mondays this week. Again, don't forget to turn on your notifications. That way you'll know when I go live with these Military Mondays or any other valuable information that I provide. And I would love to stay connected to you. So I'd like to get to know you. I'd like to be able to share past shows and upcoming shows that are coming up on the books with you. So I would love if you would go to militarymondays.info, militarymondays.info, and put your information in so that we can stay connected. And with that, I will see you all next Monday on Military Mondays, when I will be interviewing, I believe, so I'm not going to say her name, but I have a very good friend who I believe I will be interviewing next Monday morning, and you won't want to miss it. If you know anybody who has challenges with getting pregnant and having babies, or just nutrition in that, that's what she'll be talking about next week. So with that, I will see you all next Monday on Military Mondays. Bye, everyone. Have a great week.